Every single day, before the world tests you, before your phone lights up, before responsibilities start pulling at you from every direction, a battle has already begun. Not outside of you, but inside. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people never confront. The quality of your life is determined less by the big decisions you make once in a while, and far more by the small battles you either win or lose every day. Most people are waiting for a breakthrough moment, a promotion, a perfect opportunity, a surge of motivation. But real progress doesn't come from dramatic moments. It comes from daily conquest. Quiet victories no one applauds. Choices no one sees. And if you can learn to conquer the right things every single day, your life begins to change in ways that look sudden from the outside, but are anything but accidental. That's why this matters. Because if you miss this, you'll keep repeating the same days, calling them different years. The first thing you must conquer every day is your mind. Before you can lead others, before you can build anything meaningful, you must lead your thoughts. Your mind will naturally drift toward fear, doubt, and comparison. That's not a flaw, it's biology. But discipline is a decision. If you don't choose what you allow to live in your mind, someone else will choose for you. The news, social media, past failures, other people's expectations, they will all gladly take control. Conquering your mind doesn't mean eliminating negative thoughts. It means refusing to let them be the voice that drives your actions. The second thing you must conquer is comfort. Comfort is seductive. It whispers that tomorrow is a better day to start, that rest is deserved even when no real effort was made. Comfort feels like safety, but it quietly keeps you exactly where you are. Growth, on the other hand, feels uncomfortable. It feels awkward. It feels uncertain. And every meaningful step forward requires choosing discomfort over convenience. Not once, every day. The moment you stop challenging comfort, comfort starts controlling you. The third thing you must conquer daily is fear. Fear doesn't disappear when you become stronger. It simply changes shape. At first, you fear failure, then you fear judgment, then you fear responsibility. Fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal that what you're about to do matters. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision that something else matters more. Every day you avoid fear, it grows. Every day you face it, it shrinks. The direction you choose determines who you become. The fourth thing you must conquer is time. Time is the great equalizer. Everyone gets the same 24 hours, but not everyone lives the same life. Time doesn't betray you. You betray it by giving it away without intention. You don't find time. You decide what deserves it. Where your time goes is not an accident. It's a reflection of your values. When you conquer time, you stop reacting and start leading your day with purpose, and purpose always creates progress. The fifth thing you must conquer every single day is your excuses. Excuses sound reasonable. They often are. That's what makes them dangerous. Being tired is real. Being busy is real. Being uncertain is real. But growth doesn't wait for perfect conditions. If you let excuses win today, they'll expect to win tomorrow. And slowly, without realizing it, you'll build a life based on reasons instead of results. Accountability begins the moment excuses end. Here's the deeper truth. These 5 things are not obstacles. They are teachers. They show up every day not to defeat you, but to reveal who you're becoming. You don't conquer them once and move on. You conquer them daily, because leadership over your life, your work, your future is a daily practice. And when you win these battles consistently, something remarkable happens. Confidence grows quietly, momentum builds naturally, purpose becomes clearer, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. So don't ask yourself what you want to achieve someday, ask yourself what you're willing to conquer today. Because the future you're hoping for is built by the battles you choose to fight and win every single day. Every single day without exception, life confronts you with choices, challenges, and small moments of decision. Most of them feel inconsequential at the time. You wake up, go through your routine, check messages, respond to emails, make the usual calls, maybe exercise or eat breakfast, and then the day unfolds. On the surface, it might seem ordinary, even mundane. Yet beneath the surface, there is an invisible battlefield, a subtle arena where the direction of your life is quietly being determined. This battle is not fought with swords. It is not fought in boardrooms or on streets. It is fought within the spaces of your mind, within the consistency of your habits, within the choices you make when no one is watching. It is the battle you avoid daily, the one you pretend doesn't exist, the one that seems too small to matter. And yet, it is the one that quietly decides your future. The reason most people avoid this battle is simple. It is uncomfortable. It demands accountability, it demands courage, and it demands that you look at yourself honestly, without distraction, without excuses. The human mind is remarkable in its ability to create comfort and justification. It will always find a way to avoid the difficult, to postpone the uncomfortable, to convince you that today is not the right day for change. Tomorrow it whispers you'll start. Next week you'll improve. Next month you'll take control. And so you postpone, delay, and distract yourself, unaware that each day of avoidance quietly compounds, building walls that are invisible yet impenetrable. The small choices you avoid today, the conversations you hesitate to have, the risks you refuse to take, the self-improvement you delay, the personal accountability you ignore, accumulate silently. And over months and years, they form the invisible architecture of your future. Avoiding this battle may feel safe in the moment. If you choose the path of least resistance, the world seems calmer, your anxiety is temporarily muted, and you can convince yourself that everything is under control. But this is an illusion. Every time you turn away from the discomfort, every time you let fear dictate your decisions, every time you silence the voice of purpose and settle for mediocrity, you are quietly surrendering control over your own life. You are giving your future to chance, to circumstance, to other Opal's expectations. And the most dangerous part is that you may not even notice it happening. Life continues, time passes, and one day you realize that you are far from where you imagined yourself to be. You are not a victim of luck or fate. You are a result of the daily battles you chose not to fight. The battle you avoid is different for everyone. For some, it is the battle against distraction, the endless scrolling through social media, the binge watching of shows, the constant need for external stimulation that keeps you from developing your skills, learning, or reflecting on your purpose. For others, it is the battle against fear, the fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of making a move that could lead to growth. For others still, it is the battle against procrastination, the internal conflict between what you want and what you are willing to do to achieve it. Whatever form it takes, the essence is the same. It is the choice between avoidance and engagement, between stagnation and growth, between letting life happen to you and taking ownership of the life you are capable of creating. What is remarkable about this battle is that winning it is not about dramatic gestures or heroic moments. It is about small, consistent acts. It is about showing up when you don't feel like it, speaking the truth when it is easier to stay silent, putting in the work when no one is watching, and choosing growth when comfort calls louder than ambition. Each time you engage with the battle you would rather avoid, you are shaping your character. You are reinforcing your resilience. You are proving to yourself that you can trust your own judgment, that you can rely on your own discipline, that you are capable of more than you think. And with each victory, however small, you are quietly determining the trajectory of your life in ways that no external force can override. Avoidance has a cost. It is not always immediate, but it is inevitable. Every time you sidestep a difficult conversation, you lose a chance to strengthen relationships. Every time you avoid effort or responsibility, you lose a chance to build competence and confidence. Every time you delay confronting your own weaknesses or fears, you lose a day of progress that can never be recovered. And the accumulation of these losses is what creates the gap between where you are and where you could have been. Life does not reward comfort, and time does not pause for hesitation. The moment you consistently engage in the battles you would otherwise avoid, the moment you make it a habit to face discomfort and take action despite uncertainty, you are investing in a future that is deliberately shaped rather than passively endured. The secret is understanding that avoidance is never neutral. It is not simply a matter of doing nothing. Choosing not to act is a choice itself, a choice that has consequences. Every day you avoid, the world moves forward, opportunities are claimed by those who act, and the space for your growth quietly shrinks. Your fears, doubts, and insecurities gain strength when left unchecked, creating a cycle that is hard to break. But the opposite is true as well. Every time you confront what you would rather ignore, every time you take responsibility for your choices, every time you act with intention and courage, you reinforce the habits and mindset that allow you to thrive. You are no longer a passive observer of life. You are an active participant in your own story. The battle you avoid daily is not something external that can be postponed or delegated. It is internal. It is psychological, emotional, and spiritual. It requires self-awareness, honesty, and courage. It requires that you sit with discomfort long enough to understand it, challenge it, and act despite it. It requires that you hold yourself accountable for your choices, for your use of time, and for the energy you invest in your growth. And while it may seem small, invisible, or inconsequential, it is ultimately what shapes your destiny. The habits you form, the thoughts you nurture, the courage you exercise, and the responsibility you accept, all of these daily decisions quietly determine the trajectory of your life more than any single event, opportunity, or external influence ever could. And so every morning you wake up, you face the same question. Will you confront the battles that are uncomfortable, inconvenient, and challenging? Or will you postpone, avoid, and settle for the temporary comfort of inaction? Every night when you reflect on your day, the answer will be clear. The small victories of daily confrontation build momentum. The small defeats of daily avoidance accumulate silently. Life is neither random nor predetermined. It is the reflection of the battles you choose to engage with or ignore every single day. Mastering this truth, embracing it fully, and acting on it consistently is what separates those who achieve their potential from those who drift through life waiting for luck to decide their future. Your future is not shaped by luck, by coincidence, or by the grand gestures you dream about. It is shaped in the quiet, unobserved moments when you choose to face what you would rather avoid. It is shaped in the discipline, courage, and consistency with which you approach life's invisible battles. And the remarkable thing is that you have complete control over this. The battle may be difficult, uncomfortable, and relentless, but it is yours to fight. Every day you choose to confront it. Every day you refuse to sidestep it. Every day you do what most people will not. You are silently, invisibly, and inevitably shaping a future that is yours to claim. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many people hear the word and immediately associate it with restriction, punishment, or a loss of freedom. They imagine schedules that feel suffocating, rules that feel arbitrary, or obligations that feel heavy and burdensome. And because of that perception, they resist it, avoid it, and even fear it. But what if I told you that discipline is not punishment? What if I told you that discipline is not about depriving yourself, controlling yourself, or forcing yourself to endure hardship for its own sake? Discipline is not something that exists outside of you, imposed by circumstance, society, or someone else's rules. Discipline is something you create from within, something that grows from a deep sense of self-respect, and something that manifests every time you act in alignment with your values, your purpose, and your potential. Discipline is self-respect in action, and understanding this completely can transform the way you live, work, and grow. When you truly grasp this, you begin to see that discipline is not an external burden, but an internal affirmation. It is the daily commitment to honor yourself, to show up for yourself, and to prioritize your growth, even when it is inconvenient, uncomfortable, or challenging. It is the act of looking in the mirror and saying, I am worth the effort. I am worth the investment. I am worth the consistency. Every time you push yourself to follow through on a promise to yourself, whether it is to exercise, to learn something new, to focus on your work, or to manage your emotions, you are practicing self-respect. You are sending a signal to your mind, your body, and your spirit that your own potential matters. Discipline, in this sense, is not about deprivation. It is about dedication, devotion, and a profound recognition of your own worth. The reason discipline feels uncomfortable to most people is because it is an act of delayed gratification. Our brains are wired to seek immediate reward, comfort, and pleasure, to exercise restraint, to resist temptation, to maintain focus, or to persist through monotony and difficulty feels unnatural. It feels like punishment because it goes against the instinct to seek comfort and avoid discomfort. But the very act of resisting, of choosing what is best for you in the long term over what feels easiest in the moment, is a demonstration of self-respect. Every time you say no to distraction, every time you follow through on a plan when laziness beckons, every time you hold yourself accountable for your actions, you are silently, powerfully, and deliberately telling yourself that your life, your potential, and your purpose are worth more than fleeting ease or pleasure. Discipline is not a cage. It is the foundation of freedom, the freedom to live life on your own terms, to create a reality that aligns with your vision, and to avoid being ruled by impulse, fear, or external circumstance. Discipline is also not about perfection. Many people avoid discipline because they equate it with rigid schedules, extreme self-denial, or flawless execution. They fear failing at it, so they never even try. But true discipline is flexible, patient, and compassionate. It is not about punishing yourself for mistakes. It is about creating habits that serve you, systems that guide you, and consistency that compounds over time. It is about understanding that every choice matters, that every action communicates to yourself what you value, and that every small act of self-control builds strength, resilience, and confidence. Self-respect in action is not measured by the absence of error, but by the commitment to rise, to refocus, and to act in alignment with your principles again and again. It is about saying, I owe it to myself to do better today, and I did yesterday, not because someone is watching, but because I matter. The power of discipline lies in its ripple effect. When you respect yourself enough to act consistently, to show up, and to take responsibility for your choices, that self-respect spreads into every area of your life. Your relationships improve because you honor your commitments. Your work improves because you respect your own time and effort. Your personal growth accelerates because you refuse to let excuses, distractions, or fear dictate your actions. Discipline becomes a compass guiding you toward your long-term goals, even when immediate gratification or discomfort threatens to derail you. And as you build this internal culture of respect, you begin to notice that life becomes less chaotic, less reactive, and more deliberate. Your decisions carry weight because they are rooted in intention. Your actions carry purpose because they are guided by a profound respect for who you are and who you are becoming. Discipline is also intimately tied to courage. It takes courage to resist the easy path, to face discomfort, and to make choices that honor your future self. Every act of discipline is a declaration that you are willing to prioritize growth over ease, long-term impact over short-term pleasure, and integrity over indulgence. It requires vulnerability to hold yourself accountable, to admit when you fall short, and to keep moving forward despite setbacks. But this courage is not about fearlessness. It is about respect for yourself. It is about recognizing that you are the only constant in your life, the only person who will be there through every challenge, success, and failure, and therefore the person most deserving of your loyalty, your care, and your commitment. Self-respect demands action, and discipline is the vehicle through which that action manifests. When you practice discipline as self-respect in action, you stop framing your efforts as punishment and start framing them as empowerment. You no longer dread the routines that build strength, skill, and clarity. You embrace them as investments in yourself. You stop seeing responsibility as a burden and start seeing it as an expression of your integrity. You stop viewing delayed gratification as deprivation and start seeing it as a strategic choice that honors your potential. And in that shift, something remarkable happens. Discipline stops being something you have to force yourself to do and becomes something you want to do, because it aligns with your sense of self, your purpose, and your highest vision for your life. Ultimately, discipline is about reclaiming control over your life. It is the practice of self-respect made tangible. Every time you wake up early, stay focused, resist temptation, follow through on a promise, or persevere through difficulty, you are telling yourself that you are worthy of your own effort. You are telling yourself that your dreams, your goals, and your growth matter more than convenience, distraction, or temporary discomfort. And over time, these daily choices, these acts of disciplined self-respect compound. They shape your habits, your identity, and ultimately your destiny. What once felt like a struggle becomes your standard. What once felt like restraint becomes freedom. Discipline is not punishment. It is the daily, deliberate act of honoring yourself, respecting your potential, and taking ownership of the life you are capable of living. Every human being experiences life through a filter, a lens formed not just by circumstances, but by the thoughts we allow ourselves to think. Most people underestimate the power of thought because they see reality as something external, something that happens to them, or something that is dictated by events beyond their control. Yet the truth is that reality is first imagined, first conceived in the mind, long before it is expressed in action or manifested in the world. Thoughts are not just fleeting mental events, they are the blueprint of our lives, the invisible architecture upon which every choice, every habit, and every outcome is built. Every action, no matter how monumental, is first preceded by thought. Every success, every failure, every relationship, every career, every habit begins with what happens in the mind. What you consistently think, what you consistently believe, and what you consistently imagine will eventually dictate what you experience. The challenge is that most people do not recognize how much power their thoughts have. They allow negative, self-limiting, or passive thoughts to dominate their minds. They replay doubts, fears, and stories of inadequacy over and over again. They tell themselves, I can't do this, I'm not ready, I don't have enough, or this is impossible. And because thoughts precede actions, these mental patterns quietly set the stage for failure before any action is taken. If you believe you are unworthy, your choices, your words, and your behaviors will reflect that belief. If you believe that opportunity is scarce, your perception of the world will filter out possibilities and highlight obstacles. In this way, thoughts are not just mental habits, they are active creators of your lived experience. Before you take a single step, before you even plan a single action, your mind has already shaped the framework of your reality. Thank you. The power of thought is magnified by its subtlety. Most people think that thoughts matter only when paired with deliberate action, but in truth, the mind is constantly laying the foundation. Whether you are aware of it or not, thoughts influence perception, perception influences choice, and choice determines action. If your internal dialogue is positive, if your imagination is purposeful, and if your mind is oriented toward growth, you naturally perceive opportunities, align your priorities, and take steps that bring your vision into reality. Thoughts then are not idle. They are catalysts. They quietly shape the decisions you make, the risks you are willing to take, and the persistence you bring to challenges. By mastering your thoughts, you begin to master the conditions that make your actions effective, intentional, and aligned with your highest potential. The practical reality of this is evident in every aspect of life. In careers, the people who advance are often those who first see themselves in the roles they aspire to, who imagine success vividly, who rehearse possibilities in their minds, and who refuse to let limiting beliefs define their choices. In relationships, the quality of interactions, the depth of connection, and the ability to influence others begin with mindset. A person who constantly thinks in scarcity, fear, or mistrust will unconsciously create distance, conflict, and misunderstanding. A person who nurtures thoughts of empathy, abundance, and patience will naturally attract connection, cooperation, and trust. Even in personal growth, the discipline to exercise, to learn, or to create starts with the thought that it is possible, that it is worthwhile, and that it matters. Without that initial thought, the action never occurs, or if it does, it is inconsistent, forced, and ultimately unsustainable. The danger of ignoring the power of thought is that it allows unconscious patterns to dominate. Many people drift through life believing that circumstances are external, that luck is the primary determinant of success, or that they are victims of forces beyond their control. And while external conditions can influence outcomes, they do not determine them. The thoughts you nurture are the lens through which you interpret, respond to, and interact with the world. If your thoughts are reactive, fear-based, or defeatist, your responses will mirror those patterns. The world then appears harsher, more hostile, or less possible than it truly is. This is why individuals with the same resources, background, and opportunities experience vastly different realities. It is not merely luck, it is the cumulative effect of the mental frameworks they cultivate. Thoughts shape perception, perception shapes choice, and choice shapes reality. The connection is invisible, yet undeniable. The constructive side of this truth is equally powerful. By consciously shaping your thoughts, you can begin to intentionally influence your reality before taking a single external action. Visualization, mental rehearsal, affirmation, reflection, and focused attention are all tools to harness this principle. Athletes, leaders, creators, and innovators all use mental preparation as a key component of success. They understand that the mind will translate what it consistently entertains into action. When you visualize the outcome you desire, when you imagine yourself responding effectively to challenges, when you rehearse success internally, your mind begins to align the external world with those possibilities. Thoughts are, in essence, the seedlings of reality. Plant them wisely, nurture them carefully, and they grow into tangible results. Neglect them, fill them with fear or doubt, and reality grows accordingly. It is also essential to recognize the daily practice required to harness the power of thought. This is not a one-time revelation, but a constant intentional cultivation. Each thought you entertain, each narrative you reinforce, and each perspective you allow to dominate your mind contributes to the unfolding reality you experience. Awareness is the first step, noticing when your mind drifts toward limiting patterns, self-criticism, or negativity. Discipline is the next step, redirecting thought toward constructive, empowering, and expansive possibilities. Action follows naturally, but it is always rooted in the quality of your thinking. The stronger, clearer, and more intentional your thoughts, the more precise, consistent, and effective your actions will be. The mind sets the trajectory, actions follow the trajectory set by your thoughts. Understanding this principle fundamentally changes the way you approach life. You realize that transformation is possible before a single outward effort is made. You understand that the barriers you face are often first internal before they become external. You see that influence, progress, and achievement begin with thought patterns that honor your potential, your values, and your purpose. It becomes clear that reality is not something that merely happens to you. It is something you participate in daily, consciously or unconsciously, through the quality of your thoughts. The responsibility is profound, but so is the opportunity. By mastering your mind, by intentionally shaping your thoughts, By cultivating patterns of possibility, abundance, and courage, you begin to live in a reality that reflects the highest version of yourself long before the world catches up with your actions. Ultimately, this principle teaches that what you think is not trivial, optional, or secondary. It is foundational. Your thoughts are the silent architects of your life, building structures that will be expressed later in words, decisions, and actions. The discipline to monitor, shape, and direct thought is the first step in creating meaningful, intentional, and lasting outcomes. Before you take the first step toward a goal, before you speak your first word of influence, before you take action that could change your trajectory, your thoughts have already laid the groundwork. The reality you live, the life you experience, and the legacy you create are all reflections of the thoughts you consistently nurture and cultivate. And when you realize this, when you internalize this truth, when you take responsibility for the unseen power of your mind, you begin to shape a reality that is not left to chance, but intentionally built from the inside out. Comfort is one of the most deceptive forces in life. On the surface, it feels like safety, it feels like peace, it feels like reward for enduring the struggles you've faced. And in small doses, it is necessary. Rest, relaxation, and periods of ease are essential for recovery, reflection, and clarity. But too often, comfort becomes a trap, a quiet, subtle force that lulls you into stagnation, erodes your ambition, and keeps your potential unrealized. The paradox of comfort is that while it feels good in the moment, it can slowly, almost imperceptibly, steal the future you are capable of creating. It whispers that the current state is enough, that tomorrow can wait, that growth is optional, and that your best efforts are unnecessary. And if you listen to that whisper too often, day after day, week after week, year after year, you gradually drift away from the life you are capable of living and toward a life that is safe, predictable, and limited. The reason comfort is so dangerous is that it doesn't feel like a threat. Unlike fear or failure, which trigger immediate alarm, comfort feels natural. It is appealing, it requires no effort, no confrontation, no courage. It is easy to settle into routines that are familiar, to remain in relationships, jobs, or environments that provide stability, and to avoid challenges that might stretch your abilities. At first, it feels harmless. You tell yourself that you are taking care of yourself, that you deserve a break, that everything will be fine if you maintain your current pace. And for a while, it is fine. But the subtle erosion begins quietly, imperceptibly, until you one day realize that the gap between who you are and who you could have become is wider than you imagined. The comfort that felt safe is revealed to be a slow drain on your potential, a force that prefers mediocrity over greatness, familiarity over innovation, and ease over excellence. Every human being is capable of far more than they often realize. Potential is not a fixed quantity. It is a dynamic energy, waiting to be awakened, tested, and expressed. But potential is fragile in the face of comfort. It is like a muscle that requires resistance to grow. If the mind and body are never challenged, strength atrophies. If curiosity is never tested, imagination shrinks. If courage is never exercised, it weakens. Comfort, in this sense, acts like a gentle anesthetic, numbing the edges of ambition, dulling the senses to possibility, and convincing you that the current state is sufficient. The life you are capable of living, the achievements you could claim, and the impact you could have are all slowly eroded when you choose ease over growth, routine over challenge.